Oh, hello, beautiful, beautiful butterflies and perfect people. Welcome to Tanesia's Locs Beauty Tips and Potpourri. I wasn't going to do this video today because I am struggling trying to retighten my own hair. And something said, I have nothing in the queue. Let me get on here since my hands have been in my head for the last 6 days off and on. I am committed to doing my own retightening, beautiful people. But this is no job for the weak of heart. This is no job for the weary either. You need to be well rested and you need to be in the mood to do this. I started this, I don't know, a week ago, y'all. I do a little bit here, then I don't feel like being bothered. I do a little bit there. All right. I've gotten quite a bit done. I jump around. There is no order to this. I even did some here along the sides. I'm going to do my best to beg my daughter Naima to assist when I get into this area. But I wanted to give y'all some tips, and I want to get some tips from y'all because I certainly don't have all the answers. Why am I doing this? Okay, I'm doing this for several reasons. First of all, I've tried this before. I did my own retightening 2 times before, and then I started, and then I ended up going to get my retightening from my loctician. I also believe in doing this area myself in between retightenings all the time anyway. This is a very tender area. I'm not trying to lose the progress that I've made with growing my hair thicker around the edges. And so y'all know some of the things I talk about on the channel with regard to really being your own advocate and really paying attention to the nature and quality of your retightenings as well as the frequency of them. I wait quite a bit of time before my retightenings. I advocate not doing retightenings too frequently. However, you have to find what works for you. What works for me may not work for you. And honestly, what works for me, which is 10, sometimes I've gone to right around 11 weeks. Usually I'm right at 10 weeks. I may be shifting that if I have to do them on my own. Reason being is because it makes the trying to do it without making mistakes, it's just more difficult. It's hard to explain, but y'all who do your own retightenings, y'all know it's not easy. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. I remember the first time I did this, I probably married about 7 locks. It's awful when you marry a lock, but usually I catch it the first rotation or by the first rotation that I married it. So I call Naima or Sophia. They have to sit in my head for a few minutes and they have to take it out. Sometimes they're able to get it right out. Other times they're able to thin it and thin it and thin it until it's 1 or 2 hair strands, and I'll just be like, okay, forget it. I'm going to continue. But y'all know my concerns. I've had these locks for a long time. I expect there to be some change in them. And one of the things that I have to really, really watch out for is this thing with the thinning. Y'all know I'm kind of big on the thinning thing. All right, because I'm seeing too many people with our locks start dealing with significant hair thinning after a certain amount of time. And I know it has to do with the styling, it has to do with some other things, but the quality of the retightenings, the frequency of them, how you take care of your hair before the retightenings, all that stuff is really important. With me likely going to be moving soon, I'm trying to get to an area where I can be in a lot more nature, everybody. I don't leave the house that much, not that I ever did. I'm kind of a recluse, whether you realize it or not. Other than coming on these channels and talking to y'all and doing these readings, I kind of like to be alone to myself. You see this? So I'm just really trying to isolate this. So as a result, y'all, and I'm not quite at my 11 weeks. I got to be honest with you. I'm not even at 10. I think I have 2 more weeks, but I really can't afford to wait. If I end up moving all the way out where I'm going, I'll have to come in about 2 hours to get my locks retightening. I always like to be self-sufficient and self-reliant. I don't like to be a slave to something that somebody else has to provide for me for something that's this important. So I decided, even though I've done it before, I would try to tackle it again and see how I felt having to do my own hair, because in the event that I'm down there where I'm moving, there may be some times where I may have to do my own hair. The other thing that I'm considering is soliciting someone at the neighboring high school there who likes to do hair and teaching them what I want them to do with my hair and teaching them how I want them to do it. The actual interlocking itself is not a big deal once your locks are started, so I'm not afraid of that. I feel that if I can find me a young person, then I can train them to do my locks the way I want them to do them. I can tell them, you know, it's going to take you about 5 hours. I'll pay you this amount per hour. And I can coach them around the things that are a part of my value system. Namely, I don't want to be in any pain. I don't want excess pulling. I need it to be a tender process. I don't want it tightened all the way down to my scalp to where it's so tight that my hair can pull out. And I need them to really take their time, okay? Now, I have a wonderful relationship with Ifraj and Nika. Both of those are my two locticians. Although they are very different, I'm pleased with the work that they've done up with my hair up to this point. But I'm a realist, okay? I'm a realist. Everything is not perfect. And I'm a realist in the sense that as my hair gets longer and as I watch some of the challenges that many women are having with Sisterlocks, I know that I need to really be on top of my regimen. And no matter who's doing my hair, unless I've trained the person, when I do my hair, I know how careful I need to be. I know when I'm pulling this through, I know what I need to do to make sure I don't hear this pulling through the scalp. Or I know what I need to do to make sure that I'm not pulling any hair and creating more friction than I absolutely have to. But the challenge is when you're doing this on your own, even when you're doing it at the front, you run the risk of combining your locks or marrying them on one of the rotations. And y'all, it's terrible because it's not always something you can just gently pull apart like a stray hair. By the way, I don't know if y'all noticed this. I'm going to show y'all a before and after. This side of my hair has always been thinner than this side all my life. When I got the locks, the plucked chicken look, you could really see it on this side. So I'm using the magical hair growth serum right in this area. I'm noticing more fuzz. Now, this has been like this my whole life. I'm trying to stimulate growth in this area. So I'm putting it on there. I'm noticing more fuzz. And I got a little tiny little pieces of stray hairs in here so that it's not looking as thin as it normally does when I first retighten. It's looking more like this side, okay? Which I like. So that's the magical hair growth serum. I'm going to keep you posted because I did take a before picture before I got started. Okay, you see this? This has been married. Now, I got to ask Naima to hook her mother up, but I don't feel like bothering her right now because she's tired of me marrying these locks. And even though she just came back home after a few days, she ain't trying to deal with mommy with these locks. So I'm going to try to go as far as I can on my own before I solicit her. So what I'm using is, these are working well. Reason being is because you got to do this for every lock. You got to clear everything. Whenever I decide to be lazy and I just go up here and I think, okay, I can see this. I can see this. I can see this. And I start twisting. And I start rotating, inevitably I combine something. So I have to single out the lock like you see here, okay? I have to make sure that I can really feel that there's nothing around here. You see, I'm getting ready to use another one that can really get in the way. That the one that I'm getting ready to retighten really is free and in the clear. The other thing, before you even start that, you have got to make sure your hair is untangled. And this is a caveat that goes out to anybody who listens to me talk about waiting longer in between retightenings. To me, 4 to 6 weeks is very frequent. However, if you were doing your hair every 4 to 6 weeks and you were extremely gentle, I mean, very, very gentle, you probably could get by. I would say 6 to 8 might be ideal, or 7 to 8 may be ideal for most people. But that is not saying that if you're doing your retightenings a little more often that your hair is definitely going to break. Because the same is true if you're waiting. If you're waiting a significant amount of time, longer than what you normally wait or what your loctician may prescribe for you in terms of your retightenings, what you're going to have to pay attention to is the tangles. And to be honest with you, after the first 2 weeks of retightening, or the first 3 weeks, you need to really be going in and you need to be detangling your hair at the root. You should do that before every retightening. Why? Because you can't depend on somebody to take the time to do that. We're not paying them to detangle. We're paying them to retighten. So if you're not going through your hair, y'all, and you're not really taking the time to separate the hairs that will inevitably combine, the onus will be on you, and you'll be the one to have the issue when it's time to retighten your hair and your hairs become like they start to marry and they start to get tangled. If you're going to be waiting longer than you normally wait to get your retightening, please make sure every 2 to 3 weeks, at least 3 weeks after your retightening, you begin to go through and make sure everything is okay. After you wash, you really have to do it. And then up until you get your retightening once a week, no longer than every 2 weeks, you need to go through. You need to check everything out. Before, if you start to notice tangles, you really need to spray water. For me, water tends to make the hair a little bit more elastic and able to pull. Water can be good for that if you don't have anything else. If you can use something that's an oil that is a detangler, my suggestion would be to use that, because if you get into areas, especially if you've waited too long, like I have a few people who've reached out and said that they, during COVID, missed a lot of their retightenings. By the time you go to get your hair retightened, you're going to need something more than water. You need to get one of those detangling solutions. Y'all remember we used to use that. We used to wash our hair after perms and relaxes. We got a detangler. Put that in and let it detangle. Or you need something like I Am Melanin Magic's Premium Hair Blend, which really works well as a detangler. It can go into a forest and get you straight and make you feel okay. It's going to really give you the confidence to kind of gently pull them apart, because it's going to go through and really cause the hair to just not recede, but it's going to cause the hair to relax. So that's my thing, something you need to do. Now I have a 4-point, and it's hard for me to tell the direction. I'm going to start this way. I have a 4-point. So you see this? Now I got it in here. If I put it too close to the head and move it through and pick it up, I'm likely to pull this needle through and connect another lock. This is why it's so important to separate. All right, if you're the type of person that's not going to be in front of the mirror looking like this when you do it, and you're going to be in front of the TV doing it, then you really got to feel your way around, and you got to know after you put that needle through, or this through each time, you got to know, you got to check it again and make sure you're on track. All of your fingers have to be feeling around. It's hard for me. I get the direction mixed up looking here on TV or into the monitor. Okay, so before I even let this go, I'm making sure that I'm good to go. And then I let this go and I know I'm okay. Okay, and I'm going back up here. I'm up here at the top of the hour. All right, and I'm checking around, make sure I don't have anything getting in the way. I'm right here. Coming back around again. Okay, I can't tell you what the points are. I think that's the problem that some people have had on their channels. I'm not showing you how to do the Sisterlocks technique because I don't believe what I'm doing is necessarily identical. But I'm just going on 4 points around the clock in a reverse situation. Now right here, you see this? This is combined with something that's supposed to be back there. So I need to take this back out, feel my way around, go through here, make sure the coast is clear before I pull this through. By the way, stick around so I can pull an oracle card for you. Those of you who like the oracle card messages. You see me? I'm coming back this way, going towards 3. o'clock, pulling this through. You see that? I'm going to go up one more time. Now, this is technically a little bit tighter, okay, than really what I need to be doing. But I'm being very, very gentle. And in that way, I have retightened it. And I don't really have to be in the mirror. I can sit here and feel around like this. Is this going to take a long time? Heck, yes. Is this something I want to be doing all the time? I already know I'm not going to last with this. But I always feel it is important for everyone, especially y'all see what's getting ready to happen with the variant out here running around. And ain't nobody really protected. All right? Except the covering that you get from the creator. But my point is that if you're going to be a little bit apprehensive about moving around over these next few months, then you got to be thinking about, what if I have to do my own retightenings? How am I going to do that? Can I at least try? To me, I'm not concerned about what they say my locks have to look like in order to remain Sisterlocks. Hell, I know I got Sisterlocks. I know I paid Sisterlock money. I know the Sisterlock tool was used, and I have the Sisterlocks grid. And as far as I'm concerned, they're Sisterlocks, whether I tighten them this way or I use any of the other tools. By the way, this is the craft needle. I started out on this side with the nappy tool lock, which I like too. Nappy lock tool, which I like, which is good, y'all. But it's shorter. It's a little wider here. And I noticed when I needed to move quickly, even though it was shorter and it starts a lot good, when it's time for me to really move through it faster, something about the length and this point really helps me go in and move faster. So I switched back to this. This is really my go-to tool. And I've tried a lot of different tools. You know, I've tried the lock tool. I've tried some other lock tools that I found on Amazon. I use the crochet hook and all of those. I even have the Sisterlocks tool, and that one, I don't know. That would probably be better because it's going to be faster because you're not having to take it out and rethread it each time with your hair. It's much faster, but I'm not a fan of, I'm just not able to kinesthetically get comfortable with that tool. So I use this one. You can get this from Walmart. It's called a craft needle. It's a plastic craft needle. And you can get like 2 for 89 cents. But you can see how I did that, right? Everyone can see. And when it's time for the next one, I'm just going to gently take this off. And I'm going to take out the next piece of hair. And now you can see how time consuming this is. Now you see I got a little stray hair there. You're going to have some stray hair somewhere because of the growth phase. And I got to tell you, in certain parts of my hair, I have too many small, either it's really stimulated and really growing, or I have too many hairs that have been broken along the way that are trying to come back. And I wonder about that also. So yeah, I just want to see how this can work. So I've got clear space around here. You can see this. Now you can imagine if I marry this and I'm far from home and I have to come back to the Atlanta area to get Naima to unmarry this, it's going to take some time. I'm going to have to deal with it and put something up there to help me remember, like I showed you here, in order to arrest this situation. Now you can see I'm not dealing with any breakage because I wait this long to do my retightening. I'm not dealing with any breakage. What's going to create the breakage, I feel, because y'all been doing this for too long. Uh-oh, okay, see? What's going to create the breakage? Now, this is very real. I'm going to keep this on camera because this really could happen. And for this, I might have to call Naima. Because I didn't combine anything, but the way I pull this through, I got this little knot thing happening right here. I'm not sure I want to continue moving forward with that. I got to call Naima. Let's see how you see I got a little knot right there, and I don't feel like I should keep moving. I haven't pulled the lock through the root bed very much, so it'd be easy for me to probably back this out This is not something that I recommend you do on your own unless it looks very easy. I probably shouldn't even be doing this, but this is the kind of thing that if you run into something like this, you're going to have somebody help you. Okay? And this may have been because I needed to be pulling it through a certain way. I kind of got off just a little bit, needed to be paying attention. Hold on, I'm going to see if I can get Naima in here. Naima! He's not going to be a happy camper. They get sick of me. Can I have you do something for me real quick? Okay. This is not a tangle like it usually is. This is not a tangle, baby. This is just, yeah, and they can out move the camera up, but okay. This is not a tangle, baby. It's just me pulling it through. And you see it's not tangled, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just need you to pull it back out so I can get this knot. Just take it back to the direction that I pulled it through. I want to take that piece out. It was just the first time I was looping through. And I feel like I could probably pull it and straighten it out, but I'd rather just take it out and start over. You can see what I mean, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, see, she's wonderful with this. She helps me a lot. But I know this gets on her nerves. But this is not the marrying that I normally do, y'all. By the way, if you haven't purchased Manifesting My Masterpiece, Manifesting Your Masterpiece, that's one of my masterpieces. But if you hadn't purchased it, I hope that it can be in a warm addition to your healing library. It's a book of quotes. It's not a chapter book. But what it will help you do is to manifest your best life and do the healing and the emotional and energetic clearing that you need to do in your life to get to the next point of wherever you are in your journey. How's that feeling, Naima?
I'm just taking a second or two.
This is about relationships. Could be a relationship with your kid, your child, your hubby, your lover, somebody on the job. Doesn't have to be the traditional way that we think of relationships, but I just want to pull a message for you to reflect on. Is it complicated? Nah, it really was.
Yeah, just give me a second.
Okay.
It's not going to be like 2 minutes. It might be a little longer.
Really?
Yeah, because I can't even see, like...
If I just pull it straight through, will that resolve it if I just take it on through?
No, that's going to tighten it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's get you an oracle card while my lovely daughter does her magic. And if you're interested in the I Am Melanin Magic hair line of products, y'all, been in development and used on my hair for many years, protected these locks from, I can't even tell you, all the dye that I've used, all the lint picking, and all the other things that I've done that have adversely affected my locks. This keeps them thick and healthy and hopefully will combat any long-term hair loss as a result of some of the things that you can sometimes encounter on this journey. It's going to help you regrow, strengthen, revitalize, moisturize, and condition. So you can go to I Am Melanin Magic. Let me pull this card for you, .com. All right, beautiful people. Multidimensionality. 30. This may be calling your awareness to the multifaceted nature. Underneath that, we have tenderness. The multidimensional aspect that you can bring to the relationship, which can add to it at this time with the 3 and the 4. You might be, and underneath that, we have surrender and grace. If you're having a situation right now with regard to a relationship, and even if it's not a situation, you're being called to think more widely, to bring more openness and perspective to a particular situation regarding relationship. Now, it could be infusing creativity, feminine energy, and receptivity in the relationship, but it's also being willing to look at something in a different way than the way that you have before, and to bring to bear your softer side. You're surrendering, and you're going to give someone grace. For those of you who look at that, ooh, intimacy. For those of you who like fractal images, we have tenderness here, number 40. 36, surrender, which is 9, which is like walk away from conflict. Just surrender, whatever it is, surrender the ego and return to love. And then we have grace. Give this person grace. So if you're dealing with a particular relationship Rather it's someone on a job, a child, or something like that. See if you can't open up your mind to looking at something a different way. See if you can, instead of resisting something, just open up and allow new energy to flow in, new perspectives, new awarenesses, new ways of doing things, possibilities. But give this situation some grace and some tenderness, which may be a little different than the way you might have approached it, especially if you're finding yourself in conflict with someone that you love. This is the don't fight card. Give up, throw in the towel. It's not worth the hassle. It's not worth arguing over. Be in a place of grace. Grace is giving. Grace is bestowing something on someone. Grace is beauty. I like to say it's mercy. It's beautiful. It's the giving nature of something. And then bringing tenderness to a situation. So just kind of tone it down, dial it back a little bit. Allow your softer side to come to the forefront. And really be willing to open up to the multitude of different ways that you can address this situation. I do want to read the card though. Multidimensionality refers to that which has several dimensions or aspects. As spiritual beings on a journey in corporeal bodies, we have been governed by the laws of a three-dimensional physical universe. In esoteric circles, it has long been acknowledged that we are more than our three-dimensional forms, and science has been catching up with metaphysics. So whereas these were things that were said all the time, didn't have science to back it up, now thank goodness for quantum physics, we know that we are literally multidimensional, and you can reach out, communicate, or do whatever across time and space. That this time-space continuum has nothing to do with anything. It's a man-made construct. We really are all one, and we're tapped into a much larger spiritual web all the time. There it is. Quantum physics has brought into our awareness the relationship between thought and matter, and we're now starting to collectively integrate those findings into our everyday reality. Our consciousness is rapidly expanding, and we can increasingly include information and awareness of things beyond 3 dimensions. So different than the way you feel out other people's energy on a day-to-day basis. The way you think of someone in their call, but you think it's a coincidence when it's a synchronicity, but the synchronicity first started in you thinking of that person or something within your psychic energy reaching out to that person, or vice versa. This may include enhanced extrasensory and psychic abilities, an altered sense of time, memories, and awareness from other lifetimes and dimensions, and multidimensional forms of communication. Information from the layers of subtle energies is mostly taken in through our intuition. So I have subtle energetic bodies around my physical body. Huh?
I think it's okay.
Really? Can I see, baby? Thank you. I'm sorry to tie you up with this today. I know you needed to. Okay, so I really messed that up, didn't I?
Yeah.
I jacked it up. I can kind of feel that knot, but it's not that bad.
I pulled it, reversed it. But
no, this is fine. This is still, this is fine. It's smoothed out. Okay. Yeah, it's fine, baby. I think it's okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do this on my own without, it's actually, I think it's fine. It's very smooth. It's fine. Thank you. So just to finish that up, and then I'm going to finish this up. Around my physical body, I have a template which mirrors my physical body. Then I have my other subtle bodies, my emotional, my mental, my spiritual bodies, which have fancy names to them. All of those mirror what the goings on in my energy field as I assimilate and move through the world and connect with creation and connect with other people's energy fields. So it's constantly sifting through information. It's constantly assimilating, processing, which is why when you come up to someone or you see them on YouTube, you can tell if you resonate with that person. That's not a conscious thing. That's something subconscious. That's something intuitive that happens by the way your energy field feeds into what is around it to become more aware. And so that's why it's so important that we read a situation, that we read other people, that we try to pull on some of the other gifts that we have that may not be confined to the 5 senses. Often these eyes can be they can fool us, but this eye, your spiritual eye, is the eye that's never really going to mislead you. Okay, so we're on the threshold of a new era, about to discover more of the wondrous and magical ways the universe is alive, forever changing, morphing, and breathing. A universe that interacts with us and where everything is connected and our consciousness gives us access to all of it. It's a matter of how deep you go in, how deep you can go into this space. But clearly, we have been conditioned in this third dimensional reality to rely on just the five senses. But at the end of the day, when that mother runs outside to lift that car up to save her baby, or you know something's going on at home with one of your kids, or you meet somebody and you know you need to run, it's not your eyes or your sense of taste, touch, feeling that's getting you there. It's your psychic apparatus. So pull on those things in relationships. See where it is this week you need to be creative and you need to use something other than the obvious in order to perceive what's going on with the situation, and see where you can give someone grace. Okay, look how quick this goes at 30 minutes. Okay, so here we go. I need to pay attention this time. So I'm not going to talk, y'all. All right. You see, you don't hear anything that's creating stress with my hair because I'm doing this on my own. See, I don't have enough hair on that side, so I want to make sure I'm somewhere in the middle. But I'm having to feel around the whole time. Okay, because this, you see, you don't hear anything. And you shouldn't really hear anything. It should be kind of seamless, beautiful butterflies and perfect people. All the while, you need to stop and check, make sure you're not grabbing anything that has no business being there. You really have to you have to be able to see in the dark. All right. I'm probably going to just do one more. See that? I'm going to go down towards 6. Making sure I don't grab anything. You see, you don't grab nothing from this hair back here. All right, you see I'm good. Didn't really need to go that far to the root, to the top, but I'm good. So it's possible, and I need to be able to do this, and so do you, even if you don't feel like it, because, y'all, listen. I have a lady who many ladies, but let's take one lady who, many of them are having to take their locks out. I think before I took my locks out, I would probably either try to nurture the new growth in the areas where I've lost it and revitalize my hair by giving my hair what it needs. I would lighten up on the retightenings, but I would find someone else or train someone else to give me what I needed for my hair in terms of the retightenings, or I would learn to retighten them myself. That's just me. If these things start to, at some point, God forbid, you know, they start to become an issue, I'm looking at all the years and money I've spent on these things, and the fact that I would keep this hairstyle to the day I go to my grave if I could, because it's just so easy and it's not the kind of thing I want to have to take out and start all over. I'm willing to cut them. I'm willing to cut them at some point if it means that it's going to make my hair stronger, or if it's going to be safer, or it's going to reduce some weight. Although as long as I wash thoroughly, they feel very light. And they're at least 5 to 6 inches longer than they were when I was considering cutting them before, when I was using my heavier recipe and I wasn't really washing my hair thoroughly. I would wash it one time and be done with it. Nowadays, especially when I'm oiling every day like I have been with these, because this is helping my hair, and I know I'm going to turn around and right after this, probably in a week, I'll wash my hair, because it'll have what I would consider too much oil, more oil than I like to put in it on a regular basis. But that's another thing about this oil, because the more that you use it, the more your hair is going to grow. So you could use it and then wash it out, okay, so that you're not dealing with increased weight. It's very light, but this is 8 ounces of liquid, okay? It's got to go somewhere, right? But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you get something from it. I am going to do my best to continue this journey. And maybe by the end of the week, who knows, I will have finished my hair. I am going to get my daughter Naima to help me. But you saw me do 2. And You see, I'm never going to pull from the root. I'm going to pull from this part of the hair. I'm going to do one more. And I got to tell y'all, after I do this one on my own, I feel like I did a day's work. I'm ready to relax. I want to go to sleep. And I got 580 some locks. Oh. So if you have any tips on these retightenings, please share the wealth. Much love to you. I hope you have a beautiful, peaceful, and productive day. Mwah. See you around.